Yo, what up? This is a video of me drawing like a little dude. Here's like the border, right? I like to add those in because it just makes it look a little nicer. There's this big ass nose, and I gave him some funky little eyes, some eyebrows, and a mustache and shit. I just like drawing funny little dudes, you know. I don't like to put too much pressure on myself to try to draw something nice. Give him his little bowler hat and coming up here in a second. I'm gonna give him his big ear. I think it's fun to just doodle a little dude every now and then. Yeah, put a shirt on him and make him funny looking. I like to think that is like a funny guy. He does like little dances and he makes people laugh. When I like to draw these, I like to add a little background, even if it's just something as simple as some lines. It really gives you more to look at, I guess. I think I already said that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. This is Biggles.
Yo, what up? There I am posting again. This time I'm just doodling myself a little goblin. Instead of going in with a Sharpie like I did in the last one, I figured I'd go in with a Pigma. These things are a little smaller, let me get a little more detail. But anyway, yeah, I love drawing goblins. I see them around my house, like, fairly frequently, like playing in the trash and like pulling weeds in the garden and stuff like that. I don't know much about goblin culture. Maybe I should make myself a little more worldly, but I like to think that they take all their pilfered objects from my house back to their place and spread them amongst the goblins, the goblin children to play with, or whatever they may do. Yeah, I gave him a little chest hair there. I thought it would make him a little more burly. Um, Here's those just lazy background lines just to make the drawing look like it's a little more full. I couldn't be bothered to actually like put any effort in. And here comes his name. Yeah, this is Trash Bag the Goblin.
Yo, what up? I'm doing another drawing here. I woke up last night around like I don't know, like 3:30 in the morning or something like that, and my cat wanted some din din. Me being an obliging master, I always do. And anyway, on my way down the stairs, I looked out my window, facing east, if anybody cares. And I saw this young fella here, adorned in a white robe, standing out by my shed. He looked to be coaxing some sort of creature out from behind it, possibly his lost cat, maybe a rat or something along those lines. I don't understand why a hooded man would want some sort of creature from behind my shed, but I hope he found what he was looking for. Anyway, I had a long day today, so I went back to sleep, and I decided to wait till after work to do my artist's rendition, my character portrait, my police caricature of this young fellow. Really, my whole idea with this drawing was I just wanted to use a whole lot of black. Initially, I had thought that I would throw some trees in the background, and I actually had planned to use one of my markers to color his robe a gray color, but I was listening to some music and got distracted, so you get what you get now. Anyway, I don't really have a name for this guy, so I just called him the guy in my yard. I don't know. Just tell me what you think his name should be. Yeah. Yo, what up? Felt like doing another one today. This is a drawing of a guy I actually saw in the woods on my day off a couple days ago while I was out for a walk. I went down on a walking trail nearby my house. Well, it's about an hour walk away, and I stepped off the trail for a little bit because there was a beautiful clearing that I wanted to get out to. And through the bushes, I saw a little bit of rustling, and I decided to investigate. And I actually happened upon this little guy. He never gave me his name, but I think that was on purpose. And when you go into a guy's house like that, I think he lived in the woods anyway. That could be offensive. I'm not sure. You don't ask their name. I was the intruder. He didn't even ask me my name. He ran off pretty quickly, but I did manage to get like a good mental image of the guy. Yeah, this is just a nice little drawing of a goblin in the woods. I think I stole that woods design from someone. I don't know. Yeah, this is a goblin. Yo, what up? Coming back with another thing. Today after work, I went past my usual stop for home. I guess home. I don't know why I'm wording it in that way. And I decided to keep going. Turns out at the end of my street, there's actually a pretty big tower that I had never noticed before. So being an intrepid explorer, I decided to trek inside. I climbed up the various stairs and went through the alleyways and corridors and whatnot, the things you would find in the tower. Um, and on the top floor, I happened upon a room. At least I think it was the top floor anyway. I wasn't really counting. But yeah, in this room, I saw there was some sort of ball, perhaps made of obsidian, or maybe it was just a bowling ball that I didn't really get a good look at, I guess. Either way, it shimmered in the light. As I approached it, there was that same figure, actually, the guy who was out by my shed a couple of nights ago, in his nice robes, stopped me, put his hand out. He didn't seem too excited about whatever I was doing. Told me I had to leave, that civilians weren't allowed in the ball storage. Yeah. Yo, what up? I've got a bit of an update on my robed figure situation. A couple of days ago, there was one out by my shed, and then I think it was yesterday. I was exploring a tower at the end of my street, and I happened upon another one on the top level. Today, on my usual trek home from work through the dark forest, I noticed that there were several of these young fellows all around. I could only assume they were up to some sort of woodsly activities like the gathering of herbs or observing mushrooms, but you can never be too sure. So I quickened my pace and got home. Now here I am, just given like a little artist's rendition of what I saw today. I think there might have been a couple more. I don't know. I'm not too great at depicting scenery, but I feel as though these sorts of things should be showcased just in case. You never know what's abound. Is that a word? About? I don't know. Anyway, in this drawing, I tried my hand at hatching for the first time in forever. That's what you see in the far back there. It's a technique for crossing lines and stuff. I'm not very good at it yet, but hey, we all get better with time, right? I was lost in the forest. Yo, what up? Today was grocery day, and I decided to head down to the little a local grocery store downtown instead of the chain one that I usually hit up near my house, just for a change of scenery. Sometimes that's nice. But at these local grocery stores, you tend to find things that you wouldn't find anywhere else. You know, local jams and foraged stuff and whatnot. So I decided to peruse the sections, and as I was browsing the produce, uh, amongst the empty bins and uh, older than I would care for tomatoes. There's actually a book lying in one of the bins, a dusty old tome. From what I understand, what I've been told, at least by the people who were working there, that that was the evil tome. I didn't think that I'd find the evil tome today, but that's actually kind of a boon to my quest, so I'll take what I can get there. Yeah, in this drawing, I was trying to mess around with like perspective, as if like it looked like I was trying to capture my vision as I looked over the produce section, but at sort of an angle, like from my eyes. I don't think I did it well, but oh yeah, these are bananas. I don't think I did those very well either. But anyway, the perspective thing, I'm definitely not the best at it, but I like to think I'm getting better. I think those things there, the little vents I tried to draw at the bottom, are really what throws the drawing off. But I really don't care enough. Maybe I'll do another drawing someday and it'll work. That's how these things go. But anyway, I'm sitting here with my evil tome right now. I did buy it. It looked like a steal. The cashier seemed excited for me to get it out of the store. He didn't know actually how it got there, but he said it had been there for a few days. So yeah, I have that now. So that's cool. Probably try casting some spells later or something.
Yo, what up? This is a late one coming to you. Today was my day off, and I went out for a walk. I had to go to the coffee shop and do a little work. I brought my laptop with me to type away on, like the little diligent guy I am. And along the way, I was trekking through the dark forest, as I'm known to do, carefully avoiding all manner of beasts and whatnot can be found there. But about partway through my walk, I noticed a horrible house fire, actually, not even too far from where I lived. I'm thankful it wasn't my house. But from behind the flames, I noticed a little green guy run out. So I gave chase and I grabbed him. And to my surprise, he wasn't upset. He was actually pretty stoked to see me. He recounted a tale of the various hooded figures around my neighborhood giving him specific instructions to burn down this house, and he was inclined to oblige. I think he thought I was one of them. I don't remember exactly how his story went now, but he said something along the lines of, I set the fire, boss. Yeah. Yo, what up? Today was my day off, so I decided to trek out of the dark woods and work my way over toward the local coffee shop. However, that was actually closed today, so I hit up the chain instead. I don't mind that place, but the ambiance isn't quite the same. Coffee's okay, a little expensive considering it's a chain, but the chairs were comfortable, and I was able to get my laptop out and do a little bit of work. Caught up on some creative writing that I've been putting off for a while. Um, yeah, nothing too strange happened today. Just a regular day in the woods. Here I am. I'm going at it again, trying this perspective thing. I think I'm getting better, but honestly, my drawings still look a little flat. I'll probably watch a YouTube video later or something, try to figure that out. Or maybe I won't. Who cares? Um, yeah, here's the little counter, and I tried to create like a wall in the distance, right? This coffee shop, they mainly serve like, your typical things, coffee, tea, pastries,
various herbs and spices. Sometimes you can get your magical components here, only for usually for healing spells and things of a druid's nature. Anything, any sort of spell that is well, on the chill side. You know what I mean? You wouldn't be casting fireball with your supplies from here. Yeah, here I am drawing in like a nice little wooden floor. I think maybe I should have angled the boards. It would make it look a little more three-dimensional, but whatever. Yeah, the whole time I was sat there, there was this little green dude from behind the counter staring at me. He wasn't wearing a name tag, but I hope he had a good day. Yeah. Yo, what up? Had a long day at work today. I decided to take the scenic route through the dark forest back to my house. Stopped to pick some snacks up along the way. You know, a bit of trail mix never hurts when you're wandering. My goal was to get to this little pond nearby my house. Here I am trying to depict a little bit of it. This pond usually, normally contains, you know, all manner of amphibian, frog, toad, newt, maybe newt. I don't really know what a newt looks like, if I'm going to be honest with you. But tonight it actually contained another one of these hooded figures that I've been seeing around my neighborhood. First one was a few days ago behind my shed. Then there was one at the old Wizard's Tower, and a few more just like scattered throughout the dark wood. I hope this doesn't become a bit of a problem. Last thing we need is like a infestation of cultists or whatever these guys are. But who knows? Maybe it's just like a performance art piece or something like that. Remember the clowns a few years back? Could be something along those lines. I don't know. Yeah, I tried to draw those trees as if they were like the tree line was like far off in the background. Came out a little janky, but I think it gets the job done. Trying again to do some like light hatching in between and make it look like there's like a little bit of an illusion of depth going on. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm having fun doing it. Here I slap my glue stick down and I trace around it. I wanted to draw the moon in there as it was tonight. I slapped some clouds over top, but they don't really look like clouds, do they? Yeah, I heard this particular guy mumbling as he was in the water. I think he may have been trying to coax me to come in, but I'm not really sure. I couldn't hear him. I was kind of far off, and I had my headphones on, but he was definitely looking at me. Said something about a purse. Could have been curse, but like, what kind of curse would there be, right? I'm not sure. Here I come in with my white pen to throw little stars on there, and I get a little crazy and throw some in the water. It's supposed to look like a reflection, but I don't know. Yeah, whatever. Yo, what up? Met the craziest dude today. I was on my way to work this morning, and I strayed off the beaten path of the dark forest a little bit, and you know, just to get a look at what was going on around. There's been some strange happenings recently. And this morning anyway, I heard like the jingling of metal almost like it was dragging on the ground. So I got a little closer. I got down quiet, crept along, and spotted myself a little goblin. He was head to toe dressed in a suit of chainmail. Beyond head to toe, in fact. It was dragging behind him on the ground. It was way too big for his little body. It wouldn't surprise me if it was like a coif for like a giant or something like that. Coif? Quaff? I think coif. Either way, it was way too big for this guy. And once it seemed like he wasn't going to, you know, attack me with his sword or anything like that. I approached. I struck up a conversation. He introduced himself. He said his name was Garbage. and he was off on his very first adventure. He said the other goblins in his clan sent him out to seek. I think it was. He said the bee's nest. I assume he was just looking for honey and maybe got a little overdressed for the occasion. But who knows? I've never heard of the bee's nest. Maybe it's some secret dungeon that I'm not aware of nearby, or maybe far off. I actually didn't ask him how far he was going. I'm not a very good listener. A bit awkward, bad at conversation, whatever. Anyway, at this part right here, I tried to add in a little pond or a little like puddle, I guess, in the background, and boy, oh boy, did I get the perspective on that wrong. It looks like he's like holding up like a black steak. Um, anyway, this guy, he seemed like a nice guy. I wish him well on his adventure. He did tell me something about the location of the amulet, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, here's some stars, and that's garbage. Yo, what up? Today I had a morning meeting with the Goblin King. Because of some like suspicious happenings in the Dark Wood recently. The appearance of hooded figures, more magical nonsense going on than normal. I figured it was only right to maybe take my concerns to a slightly higher authority. And while maybe, the King of the Goblins isn't exactly known for his responsibility as a king, it was the best option I had at hand. The wizards are still pretty mad at me over what happened a little while back, so that wasn't really an option, and I didn't feel like going that far out. It was, I'm a lazy guy. So this dude was the main quest, I guess. Yeah, I trekked through the woods and I entered the dungeon. Since it's the goblins have inhabited it and we're in a bit of a peaceful time with those guys. It was pretty easy to get through. I just had to bring a few snacks, trinkets, baubles, things the goblins like. And I got an audience. It wasn't too hard. This dude, he sits in what I can only describe as a discarded lazy boy. I shouldn't use the brand name to refer to that. Easy chair. I think that might be a brand name too. Recliner. That's the one I'm looking for. An old recliner. And he doles out judgment to the goblins. He didn't seem like particularly concerned with my problem, but I get it. Kings have other things on their mind. Although he didn't really seem like he was doing much. I did learn a little bit though, just through observation. I think the hierarchy of goblins is determined by how much hair they have. I noticed the higher guards were hairier, and the Goblin King himself was so hairy that he even had a mustache. Unusual for goblins, I think. But yeah, I'm hoping he maybe will look into my stuff.
Yo, what up? Today I went to go visit my local wizard, Marcus. Um, Recently, there's been a increased activity in the Dark Wood, and I figured I'd go find someone with a little more arcane knowledge. First, it was the appearance of mysterious robed figures traveling at night, occupying old towers. It wouldn't surprise me if they were dungeons too. There's increased goblin activity. The obelisk recently appeared. I've been told a few rumors about the amulet. I didn't even know that the amulet was still around, so that's crazy work. So yeah, I figured the easiest thing to do would just be go visit an old wise man. Um, Marcus lives in a little wooden shack just outside the Dark Wood.
not too far from my work, on the plains. He's been there for years. Thankfully, he's there, I guess, because most of the wizards in this area tend to hang out at the college, and that's a trot and a half. It's too far for me to go, especially when it's I'm not sure if anything's going on, or maybe I'm just paying too much attention, getting a little paranoid. Magical things happen around here. Oh yeah, this video I keep pulling the the pad off the camera. I could have made another video, but I liked this drawing, and eh, this isn't high effort content. You get what you come for, I guess. Anyway, as you can see, I drew his bookcase in after I did the little wall for the room, so there's a line through the floor, the bottom shelf there. I decided I'd work a little bit of art magic and make it into a restricted section. You'll see that in a second. It doesn't particularly look good, but hey, couldn't be bothered to do better. But yeah, Marcus gave me a couple of scrolls. Hoping some of them will help. Not sure what to do. I'll update later. Yo, what up? The carnival is in town today. They've never been in town before. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen a carnival before, so I decided I'd make the trip out with a couple of friends and go see what the attraction was. They had a few rides, Ferris wheel, tilt-a-whirl. They had like the hot dog cart going on, and I think there was some ice cream and cotton candy, and your standard fare carnival stuff. However, this carnival seemed to be a bit different. If you've been watching my videos for the last couple of days, you'll probably remember that I talked about there's been some increased activity from some unknown strangers in the dark wood. These robed figures I've been seeing throughout the forest and in the plains, and even near some of the old abandoned towers. I don't know what these dudes are about, but they've been everywhere recently, and to my surprise and maybe chagrin, the entire carnival was being run by these fellas. I was apprehensive at first, but I rode a couple of the rides, and I had a good time all around. But I had a wonderful hamburger, actually. Well made. Kind of had a bad tummy afterwards, though. But yeah, these dudes, they didn't speak a word. And actually, they didn't even charge for anything, which is peculiar now that I think about it. They just kind of stared on menacingly. I kept my scrolls in hand, the ones the wizard gave me a few days ago, but didn't seem to need them. Seemed pretty harmless, but not speaking is a little strange. Yeah. Yo, what up? I decided to hit up the abandoned wizard's tower at the end of my street today. I went there a few days ago because, well, my curiosity got the best of me and I'd never been inside before. On the top level, I had found a room containing a singular orb, a ball, in fact. I encountered a hooded figure there. I've been seeing a lot of those guys around the dark woods recently. The guy I met a couple days ago seemed pretty vexed that I was even in the abandoned tower at all, but it's not his tower to be mad at me about, so I decided to go back and poke around some more. I went back up to that ball storage room, and oh, I've actually since that day, I did find out that the ball, the orb, the sphere is actually the the Wi-Fi sphere for the area, which is cool. I didn't realize that there was one so near my house. That's probably why my connection's all right. Anyway, I climbed the spiral staircase, traversed the rotten old hallways, avoided the glyphs as best I could. I think I may have triggered one, but I don't think it hit me, or at least I don't think I'm cursed, and no explosions or anything happened. So if I did get hit by a glyph, I think I got hit by a light one, or maybe it was like tired out. I don't really know how those sorts of magics work, but don't feel really any different than I did before I went to the tower. A little tired, I guess, but I'm usually pretty tired. Anyway, when I got to that top level, the robed figure was still there. At least I think it was the same robed figure. I couldn't be for certain. Um, and he commanded me. Not really commanded because he didn't say anything. He just kind of pointed at the orb and got me to gaze in. Saw a lot of stuff I didn't understand. A lot of geometry didn't make any sense. I got this foreboding feeling that something was coming, but I don't know what's on the way. I hope there won't be an incident. On the side there, you can see I tried to draw a window, but I messed it up. Oh well. I could have fixed it, but I'm lazy. Way she goes. Yeah. Yo, what up? Today I saw something crazy. I was out on my usual walk in the dark wood, having my patrol, trying to see what's up. There's been some strange happenings lately. Hooded figures, goblin activity, so on and so forth. You've heard me mention it before, I think. Anyway, I heard these sweet synthesizer tones, and being a bit of a music nerd, a bit of a synth nerd myself, I decided to pursue the sounds and see the musician who's playing. Um, these tunes carried surprisingly far. I'd have to say I was doing a light jog, like well into the forest. The sun was starting to set by the time I got to the source of the sound, and the source of the sound was a giant amplifier. Well, I guess not giant amplifier. It was like a bit the size of a bass amplifier, um, which not small but not big. Uh, Big if you're like an apartment player, I guess. You wouldn't even really want an amp if you're playing an apartment. Probably just like an interface and some headphones. Anyway, I'm getting off track. And plugged into this amplifier was a beautiful vintage Yamaha keytar. Um, they're hard to get your hands on these days, so that was pretty cool to see. Playing this keytar was a robed figure. At first, I thought it was one of these robed figures that I've been seeing about in the woods lately, but when I got a closer look, his robes were tattered. Um, and well, more importantly, he was just straight up a skeleton. And as far as I could tell, the other guys I've seen are definitely not just straight up skeletons. Um, he noticed me as I approached. He didn't seem to pay much mind to me other than a quick nod in my direction. Um, so I popped down a squat on a log nearby and gave a listen to his music. And when I tell you this dude can shred, this dude could shred. He was playing some sweet, sweet heavy metal sounds on his synthesizer and just going crazy, lighting the woods up with fiery music. Big fan. He said his name was the Evil Imp, and he flashed those devil horns. So that's pretty cool. I hope to see more guys like this. I've been a big fan of Dungeon Synth for a while, so that's neat to hear. Yo, what up? Uh, Crazy day today. I found the Sword of Jennifer. Huge news. People thought that thing was lost for years. I don't really know what like the big deal is about it. There seems to be like a lot of buzz around the town that I've found it, which is pretty cool, I guess. But like, I didn't really want like all that attention, so whatever. I found it. I'm probably gonna make the trek out to see Jennifer later on, and get her sword back to her. I don't know. I think she was supposed to be like some sort of like crazy hero or something like that, but I'm not really that involved in like what's going on in my community. Um, I should get more into that. There's some cool people living around here. I've heard that Derek might be taking on apprentices, and that could be kind of cool. Maybe learn how to be a sorcerer. Either way, yeah. The rumor has it that like this sword slayed a couple of dragons or something like that. I don't know how Jennifer lost it. It's crazy that she did. Yeah. It wasn't even really that lost. Like, it was just kind of like in a rock, not too far from my house. And like, I don't live like out of the way, you know. Like, it's anyone on like an afternoon walk would probably spot this thing. But I guess nobody was being attentive. I mean, I've lived here for years, and I wasn't attentive enough to see it. So maybe I shouldn't criticize. Yeah. I really love drawing these tree backgrounds. That's a lot of fun. Today, usually I do stuff like I like to make it at night because I like that contrast of black in the background. But um, I wanted to add a little hooded figure. I spotted the guy. He was hanging around. That wasn't like an artistic embellishment. He was there, and but I wanted to make his robes black. However, I bungled that. I absolutely bungled that blanket, and I could not get it right. I made them all streaky and weird, but like that's the nature of art, isn't it? Stuff's weird. But yeah, anyway, it was a nice sunny afternoon when I found Jennifer's sword. I don't have like her phone number or anything, so I'll probably just go visit her later on. Did I already say that? Whatever. Yeah.
Yo, what up? Today I was out to the potion shop. I was looking for my various salves and potions, I guess, and I noticed at the back of the joint there was a small shelf with a strange potion on it, stranger than the ones that you would normally see anyway. This one had an eyeball, a finger, a goblin's ear, a coin that was floating for some reason. I inquired about it, but sadly, the shop owner had actually just spilled a potion on himself and grew quite the large goblin nose and couldn't really speak. Kind of sounded like one of those guys that like really talks through their nose, you know, and you can't really understand anything they're saying. But you know, it is what it is. Anyway, I picked up this potion. It cost me like $5 and change, so it's whatever, no loss, as long as you know it doesn't like come to life and kill me or whatever. But right now, it's just like floating on my shelf over there. I feel like the eyeball's looking at me, but I can't really tell. I might just be paranoid, you know. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. I struggled today to come up with a idea for a drawing. Originally, I drew the shopkeep himself with his big nose, but I wasn't really a big fan of that one. Maybe I'll post it later on. Who knows? If someone wants to see that, it's okay. But I was a bigger fan of this one. It's something I haven't drawn before. A bunch of potions, so that's cool. I tried to, you know, like add that wood texture to the shelf, and I tried to do like boards for the wall, but I didn't quite get it right. I wanted to make them look like they were passing through these clear jars, but I don't think it really like translated that well. I don't know. I'll color in the other like the death potion here, and yeah. Hopefully this potion doesn't kill me. Yo, what up? Just a quick one tonight. Posting it pretty late too.
That's because I was out doing my one of my favorite activities in the world. I was playing Dungeons and Dragons tonight. Um, every second Sunday for the last few years, I've been gathering at a goblin camp not too far from my house, and me and a few of my buddies there, we have a game. Right now, we're playing the module Tyranny of Dragons. I think it's an older one as far as like the new system goes. Um, Here you can see I'm trying to draw the dice, but I clearly need to practice my shapes more because oh boy, did I not make them look right. Either way, we've been playing on and off for like 2, 3 years now, something like that. It's always a good time. Right now, we're playing as a traveling circus, entertaining the folks as we track the movements of the dragon cult. Um, these guys are real cool, real fun to play with. We've scrounged pretty much everything we play with. You know, the table's made of a couple of tires and an old sheet of plywood. We actually found the game books in a dumpster. It's a good time. Um, yeah, nothing too crazy. Cool.
Yo, what up? In a bit of a grumpy mood today. I got called into work on my day off. It is what it is, though. Other people need the day off as well, you know? So, I didn't really get time to go out and do my regular stroll in the dark forest as I normally would. So I'm using this as an opportunity to fulfill a sort of request. Yesterday, someone commented somewhere at one of my platforms. I'm on multiple, uploading to all the video sites. A real man of the internet. Uh, Either way, someone commented and asked to see a picture of the goblin who acts as dungeon master for us. So I took this as a challenge and a bit of a redemption because I'm not too happy with the drawing I did yesterday. To fulfill that, this is Tarba. He's my goblin friend. Great guy. I love to hang out with him. Don't see him enough. Should probably try to hang out with him more, to be honest. But I'm satisfied with playing Dungeons and Dragons with him. It's a give and take sort of situation, you know. You ride or die type homie. He's a construction worker most of the time. Goblin construction, so mostly just like nailing boards to walls and throwing rocks at stuff and whatnot. But hey, goblins gotta work too, right? Anyway, like I've been saying, we've been playing off and on for like 2 or 3 years now. It's been a good time. One of my best buddies. Yeah, that's Tarba.
Yo, what up? Ventured out to the borders of the kingdom of Azargoth today. That was pretty cool. I was taking my regular walk through the dark wood and decided to go across a clearing that I don't normally do. I just wanted to see what was going on. To the west of the dark wood, there is a kingdom that kind of fell into ruin over the last 100 years or so. I don't think anyone lives there now. I mean, maybe a few witch huts and wandering hedge wizards and stuff like that, but like no real society, more of just a kind of an abandoned place. I don't really know what happened to it, if I'm going to be honest with you. Maybe some sort of war or something like that, but I don't, like, there's nobody here to really go to war with. The goblins can get rowdy sometime, but not enough to let a whole kingdom go to waste. Um, the whole place is just like filled up with like ruined gates and temples and cool stuff to explore, really. I actually found a neat little skull resting on a
pulpit in some building, which was pretty. So I brought that home. That's in my house now. Um, Ever the morbid guy, I guess. Love to have a skull kicking around. Anyway, the way I got into this kingdom was I approached the nearby border wall because the whole place was walled in. I guess they were paranoid or something like that. And however, they weren't exactly the best like city planners, so I was able to just slip through this well, what I've got represented in front of you, covert, I guess. I don't know what you would call it. The little hole in the wall where the water passes through. I know there's one in the Lord of the Rings where that guy blows it up. That was pretty cool. It's one of my favorite scenes. I do know what the things on top are called. Crenellations. Yeah, that's a good word, crenellations. Either way, I explored around the kingdom a little bit. It's a pretty, like, bleak place in a way, but also kind of beautiful because it's overgrown and there's trees and plants everywhere. Nice thing. I always encourage everybody to go, like, check the things out around them. You never know what you're gonna find, right? I got a cool skull. Um, anyway, yeah.
Yo, what up? Got a little bit of a sad story for you. Today I was out walking. Yesterday I went to the ruins of the kingdom of Azergoth. I was kind of enamored with the state of the place. I guess like I'm sure like you guys have seen like posts online about like going to abandoned theme parks and stuff like that. Well, like imagine that, but it's like an ancient kingdom, so you know it's cool. Either way, it's cool. I decided to do a bit more exploring today, and on one of the streets I heard a weak little whimpering, a cry. And as I was exploring around, I found a lumpy little backpack that seemed to be the source of the sound. I used a stick to pry it open because I didn't know if it was like going to be like some sort of like, I don't know, shape shifting monster or whatever that was going to like, get me. But when I pushed the bag open, it revealed a little baby goblin. Um, he could, he was just stuffed away in the bag. I assume, maybe he was abandoned. I didn't see anyone around, but you know, a unattended goblin inside a backpack, a baby goblin at that, in some lost ruins is not a good sign of parenting. He knew a few words. Said his name was Borp, so I started calling him Borp. I took him home with me. I gave him a bath, washed him up. He seemed pretty upset. He's chilling in my living room right now, playing with my Legos because I'm a grown man and I have those. Um, Hopefully I'll cheer him up. Maybe I'll make him a peanut butter and jelly sandwich later or something like that. I think goblins like peanut butter and jelly. Either way, he'll be my roommate for a little bit until I can figure out where his parents went. Um, then I'll send him back. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he'll just like hang out with me forever. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah.
Yo, what up? Went to the potion shop again today. I know I only went a couple days ago, but since I've been spending so much time out in like the wilderness and ruins and whatnot, I wanted to stock up on supplies. Plus, I kind of wanted to get some cleaning solutions for a skull I found the other day, and I guess baby formula. I got a baby goblin. I've been feeding him mashed up carrots right now, but he doesn't seem to be a fan of it. I think goblins around here are more fan of like garbage juice or whatever. Anyway, I'm on a tangent. Anyway, I went to the potion shop and saw my buddy Jason. He's the guy who runs the place. He wasn't in high spirits when I visited there a couple of days ago. He had spilled goblin nose potion on himself and he grew a goblin nose. He still has it. He went and saw Geraldine the wizard the other day and looks like it's pretty incurable. He's just kind of stuck with goblin nose. I thought I saw some bumps under his hat. I think he
may have not got stuck with goblin nose and maybe has taken a goblin potion. I really don't know what I'm saying. I don't know anything about alchemy or magic or science or whatever. I just kind of hang around. Anyway, Jason was like keeping me up to date on what's going on around town outside of his own situation because he's had to do some running around and talk to some guys. He said that there's been some unknown fellows appearing in the woods. He said something about an ogre and possibly an army amassing to the north. That's crazy. I don't know what they'd want with the dark wood, but well, that's it. Anyway, this drawing is just something light and easy. I ended up getting stuck at work all day today, so well, after I saw Jason, obviously. Um, yeah, I think I screwed up that little tunnel over there a little bit, but that's fine. The potion shop just has bare walls, I guess. Yo, what up? Ran into my buddy Steven the Ogre today. It was a long day at work. Um, Ended up having to pull a double shift because some folks were sick. I get it. And I decided to take the more scenic route through the dark wood on my way home. And nearby my house, I decided to stop by and visit my ogre friend. Steven sort of lives outdoors. He's got a door that he's got propped up against a tree, but he just kind of like pushes it over and says he's in his castle. But um, I'm not gonna correct the man. You know whatever makes him happy, right? Um, Steven collects old video games, mainly retro consoles and stuff like that. I'm not sure if he knows how to play them or if he even can play them. I don't think he has electricity unless he like plugs into the back of my house when I go to bed or whatever. But I've never noticed a spike in my bill, but I guess that wouldn't show up anyway. Yeah, yesterday I was talking to my friend Jason at the potion shop, and he told me to watch out for ogres in the area. But as far as I'm aware, Steven's the only one, and he's a pretty chill dude. I've had him over for like morning coffee a couple of times because well, he's an ogre. He doesn't really have a job. He has nothing better to do in the morning. I enjoy his company though. He regales me of like the things he sees in the woods. He's a big fan of like seeing like little critters and whatnot. He likes foxes and bunny rabbits. He tells me about the smorps, but I don't really know what they are. I've never seen one, but he says he sees them all the time running around the house. I'd like to see a smorp one day, I guess. He says they have like little tails and stuff. Yeah, Steve is a cool guy. I don't hang out with him enough. I should probably hang out with him more. Yeah, he carries that big club. Uh, yeah. Yo, what up? Big update on the hooded figure situation. I've been seeing a lot of guys in what I can only assume are cult robes hanging around the dark wood lately, and I think I may have encountered a higher up in their organization. Um, it was my day off today, so I decided to go hit the dungeon. I haven't been to the dungeon in a while. I know, you dungeon heads are probably gonna give me hell for that, but you know, sometimes you just fall out of the rhythm. You know, you get out of sync with yourself, and you stop going to the dungeon, and you lose your edge. I don't know what I'm saying. But either way, I was on floor, I think 7, and I encountered a guy slinging frost spells at some of the gigantic rats that are known to inhabit that area. And he happened to be adorned in the same robes that I've been seeing these figures in the woods.
Except this guy, I was actually able to like see his face a little bit, or at least like the bottom half of it. I followed him quietly for a while. Wore my stealth armor today. Um, and when he was finally in what I would describe as a compromised position, um, he was having his snacks. Um, I leapt out at him. I'm more like walked out, to be honest. I was and I wasn't going. You know what I mean. Um, Either way, I asked him what's going on. He said he kind of spoke in riddles. He's, we are coming. The end is nigh. That sort of same lame cult stuff. I told him to get better material because, like, come on, like, you can do better than that. Like, if you're gonna be doing like, weird clandestine stuff in the dark wood, you got to be at least be original about it. I don't know. Either way, I couldn't get. He wouldn't give me his name, but I did notice that he had the amulet, which is crazy because I've been looking for that thing for a while. Don't know how he found it. I thought I was the one with like pretty much the only one with information on it. Either way, he slipped out of my grasp, and I haven't seen him since. Yeah.
Yo, what up? I've had a few people asking me about some updates on Borp, the baby goblin I found abandoned in the ruins of the city of Asergoth. He's doing all right. I guess as far as a goblin baby could go, I don't think I was as prepared for Goblin Fatherhood. That'd be a sick band name, Goblin Fatherhood. I don't think I was as prepared for Goblin Fatherhood as I thought I was. Number one, goblins have a strange sleep schedule, or at least this baby goblin does. And he wakes all hours of the night, but he's like almost like magical. Not really though. He'll be up all night and never make a sound and wake me. Even though when I get up in the morning, everything in my house is broken. He smashes plates, he digs through my cupboards, he destroys, like my magical items and whatnot. It's a fatherhood's a learning experience, I guess. I've taken to swaddling him. He doesn't appear to be too upset about it. Right now, he's got a little setup in my living room. It's just a pillow on the floor. That's all I can get him in. I built a little crib, but he tore that to shreds. So yeah, I just wrap him up real tight in some blankets and hope for the best. That's doesn't always work out in my favor though. He's sweet though. The other day, I let him go out and play in my backyard, and he came back with a handful of worms for me. At least I think for me, he kept trying to put them into my mouth. I think, the way baby goblins are known to do. Uh, anyway, it's fun though. I like having Borp around. He's a good guy. I had hoped by posting my last video I'd find his parents, but nah. Yeah. Oh wait, there's still 8 seconds left of the video. Yeah, cool. Here you go.
Yo, what up? It's that time of year again. The fairies are in bloom. This afternoon I was tending to my garden and, like picking strawberries and, turning over foliage to make sure all the leaves get proper sun. Um, when at the back of my yard, heading out into the deeper part of the dark wood, underneath a bush, I found a little fairy plant. I don't know about like the reproductive cycle of fairies and like the realms that you guys live in, but around here, the fairies usually go into bloom around early summer ish, midsummer, and then
on the solstice, they're dropped from their bushes well, like a berry bush drops a berry, or like a fruit tree drops a fruit. They hit the ground and begin their little fairy lives. The fairies in the dark wood usually don't sprout wings until they're 2 or 3 months old. So for the first couple months of their lives, they're pretty ground bound. Um, but it's cool to see because they walk like an upright like human adult, except they're only like 2 or 3 inches tall. Um, and then they begin to struggle when they first sprout their wings because it's almost funny to watch. I think you could find compilations on like YouTube or whatever of fairies struggling to figure out their wings, like baby fairies struggling to figure it out. It's funny. They always fall over or like fly into something. I've never seen one get like hurt doing it because I think they're so small they kind of like repel falling damage or whatever. But it's cute. It's fun to watch. A few of my friends, we all get together. There's a glade just on the just before you get to the plains to the west, um, where you can watch the fairies. Like it's a big fairy hotspot. You can watch them all drop on the solstice at once as soon as it strikes midnight. So that's pretty cool. However, this year I guess I'll stay behind and watch this guy in my backyard because well, he's a homie now. I've named him Bart. Um, Seems like a decent name for a fairy, Bart the fairy. Yeah. Not really sure what like the caring for the budding fairies is, but I'm sure I can figure it out. I want to make sure this guy makes it far in life. Yeah. Yo, what up? I went to the item shop today. I was in the mood to pick up a pair of nunchucks, but sadly they didn't have any in stock. Apparently, it's sort of a rare item around these parts. Lame. I spent the last like 6 days just watching YouTube videos, learning how to use those guys. I was really excited to give it a shot. Yeah, the item shop. It's run by a little goblin named Melbo. He's a good guy. I feel bad because he always undercharges me. I always tell him I can pay more, but he never accepts. Today it seemed to be pretty understocked, though. If I'm going to be honest, it didn't seem like there was a whole lot of stuff going on at the item shop, which is strange because usually those shelves are full. When I asked Melbo about it, it seems like lots of folks have been coming through and picking up battlements recently, which is never a good sign when people start buying up swords. Like you don't want that going on. He said that there were a lot of these hooded figures that I've been seeing in the woods recently. Those guys, they've been coming in and picking up like magic items and swords and staves and orbs and skulls and all assortment of wizardish battlements. Well, not just wizarding stuff. There was plenty of fighter things and even some barbarian stuff. But it makes me more and more concerned about what these guys are doing because you don't need to be so heavily armed, dude. Like we got nothing going on here, just kind of frolicking around. Yeah, with this drawing, I kind of wanted to try a little bit of perspective. I drew a shop once before, but or a couple of times, I guess now, but I wasn't exactly happy with how it turned out. But today, I think I really hit my stride with getting the depth going on. You can see what I did with the like the floorboards here, how I made them smaller as they were going away. I keep trying to do that, but I feel like I screw it up every time. But this time it looks pretty good, I think. I'm gonna come in here now and add like the what do you call it, like the wood grain. I didn't go like crazy on it. I just gave it a shot. But yeah, I think it looks pretty cool. Right? It looks like you're looking into the shop. I think I'm improving at this thing. I guess that will happen when you do one of these every day. Yeah. Let me know if you see any guys buying up items at your shop. Yeah. Yo, what up? Today I'd figured I'd
do something a little different, something crazy. Not really. I'm still just drawing a picture. But instead of what I did today, I'm going to show what I carried around today. This is going to be like a little everyday carry backpack tour type thing. This is my hunting knife. I've used it to slay several fell beasts. Always keep a health potion on me just in case. You never know when you'll need that. You know, scrape your knee, get hit by an arrow, shot by a goblin, so on and so forth. Then I got my reading glasses. You always need those just in case you need to read while you're on your adventure. You never know if like you get stuck on a toilet or whatever, and reading there is always great. Speaking of reading, this is also pretty necessary. A book. Right now, I'm reading The Dragons of Autumn Twilight by Margaret Weiss from 1984, first edition, might I add. Then today, I actually packed my what's the word I used to describe it? Mysterious potion. It's got a goblin ear and a finger and a eyeball and some coins and stuff in there. Bought it from my friend Jason, the potion seller. Then that's my lunch. Ham and cheese sandwich. Can't go wrong there. It was a little dry though. I probably should have put some more mayo in there. Love mustard. Some arrows. Forgot to pack my bow, I'm realizing now, but I did have my arrows in there, so they can be used for something in a pinch, I guess. And then there's that up there in the top corner is the skull that I found on an altar in the city of Acergoth, the ruined city of Acergoth, I may add. Stealing from a regular city is one thing, but like from a ruined city is kind of ooh. And then here's my backpack. I have one of those ones, like the military style ones, where you like it has a big flap on the top to keep the water out. Huge. I highly recommend. And here's where I put everything. I kind of really just like open up the flap and throw it all in, aside from my reading glasses, which I keep on the bottom, and my sandwich, which I keep in that big pocket on the front. And the final thing that goes in your bag is some love. I don't know. Yeah.
Yo, what up? I went to go visit my goblin neighbor today. His name is Carlos. He lives in a little hut that he built a few hundred feet from my house. He said at one point he did live in the major goblin encampment a few of miles down the road, but there was an election there. If you didn't know, goblins select their new king by measuring the amount of hair that they have, and the hairiest goblin is becomes the new king. And he decided to put his name into the running, and he lost, which means he had to flee the encampment. That's why there's usually not a whole lot of goblin politics. Usually when one guy gets in, everyone's like, well, all right, he's good enough. I don't want to have to go like live on my own. But Carlos seems pretty happy for it. I mean, he doesn't look the part, but I think he's doing okay. I usually hear him rocking out to like some classic rock tunes over there all the time. Bob Seger and the like. You guys know Bob Seger? Yeah, anyway, the reason I went to go see Carlos was because I recently came into possession of a baby goblin. His name Borp. Okay, well, I shouldn't say came into possession. I didn't take the child. I found him abandoned in the ruins of Acergoth. If any of you guys have been out there, yeah, he and I don't really know the first thing about Goblin Parenthood. So I went to go ask Carlos. However, maybe Carlos wasn't the greatest person to ask because he's never been a goblin father either. He just kind of told me to let the child do as he wants, and I don't think that that's the best thing. I think he maybe is harboring some resentment for not being able to do what he wanted when he was living with the other goblins. But I don't know. Yeah, here I am. I drew his little house there. I'm actually quite proud of the sheet that I drew as his doorway. I probably could have like maybe shaded the innards a little bit so it looked like there was something going on in there, but it still looks nice. And instead of like my usual starry night, I decided to put it's a daytime picture drawing, whatever. Anyway, yeah, this is Carlos. He's my neighbor. Yo, what up? Terrible things have happened. I went back to the potion shop today. I was looking for some baby food for the goblin that I recently adopted. And to my shock, when I entered the store, the potion seller Jason had not come up with a cure for the turn to goblin potion that he had spilled on himself a couple of days ago. Maybe like a week ago now. I don't remember how long it's been. Either way, he's how the kids say, going goblin mode. Oh God. um, he's been slowly transforming into a goblin, but like with the most bizarre proportions. Like his nose is longer than any goblin's nose I've ever seen, outside of the Goblin King himself, obviously. And he's got one goblin ear, um, and it's just massive. He didn't seem to like he tried to talk to me, but he kept getting distracted by things around his shop. He was smashing his potions and knocking his shelves down, and he had punched holes in the wall. All in all, he seemed pretty stoked about it, though. I guess that's the thing with goblin energy, right? It's like, yeah, you're being destructive, but like, it's fun. You've given up caring, or maybe you never did care about social norms. You just kind of do what you want, which is cool. But the problem is that Jason the Potion Seller isn't wholly a goblin yet. There's still some like human man in there, so he feels bad that he's wrecking his potion shop. That's it, I guess. Maybe he'll have to have his family take over for a little bit. I assume if he goes to meet up with the Goblin Clan, he'll probably fit in quite well. Um, they're a pretty like open and accepting group of people, so they'll probably take him in. Yeah, I don't know. Struggled to figure out what to draw today. This is what you got. I don't know, man. I hope Jason does better, or I guess I hope he's feeling better soon. If not, I mean, there's nothing wrong with turning into a goblin. Goblins are cool guys too. I got one living with me. Um, anyway, yeah. Yo, what up? The adventure concluded with a trip to the lake today. It was a long day. I spent a lot of time doing things I didn't want to do. One of those kind of days where you're just dreaming of relaxing. And I did just that. When I was finally finished with my responsibilities, I packed up my adventuring kit and went out to the lake. Um, it was surprisingly cold considering we've had a bit of a heat wave recently, but still refreshing. Not a whole lot of mischief happened today, actually. It was quite calm. The skies were clear. The day was nice. I mean, the usual things were abound. I didn't see the lake monster. I was hoping to see the lake monster. I thought I saw maybe some like dinner plate eyes looking at me from the murky deep, but I didn't swim out far enough to truly figure that out. Um, yeah, I just kind of wanted to draw the landscape I saw today. I've never been particularly good at landscape drawing. I've got another sketchbook that I work in. I've got tons of those kicking around, where I just kind of take a Sharpie marker and whatever I see out and about, I scribble it in really quick. Most of them look like absolute garbage, but that's kind of the point of a sketchbook, right? I think if you're trying to fill your sketchbook up with nice drawings, I mean, Where's the fun in that? Sometimes you gotta make some ugly stuff. I'm making some ugly stuff right now. Um, but yeah, the skies were clear. The weather was nice. Even after I got out of the water, even if it was a little cold, the sun warmed me up nicely. That dusk, that setting sun. As the sun did set, I was able to catch the castle of the Western City off in the distance. Drawn here, not to scale, a little big, but you know what it is, right? I've heard the folks of the Western City make their way out to this lake too, but I haven't seen anyone I didn't know. Mostly Darkwood residents. You know, trolls, goblins, wizards of the lake. Be cool to go visit the Western City sometime. I don't know. Um, I was thinking about going on like a longer adventure, maybe mapping out the lands. I don't know if anyone will be interested in seeing a map of this place. There's not a whole lot going on to look at, but if you do, let me know. Maybe I'll make a map or something. Yeah. Yo, what up? My flowers started blooming today. I keep a whole bunch of flowers in my bathroom. It's got two big windows that let in a lot of light through most of the day, and it gets nice and steamy from my showers and whatnot. So I keep a lot of plants in on the window ledge in here. Um, and Today was watering day, so what I did was I took them all and I laid them down in my bathtub, and I just put like an inch or two of water down so they can feed through the roots. All the pots that I have them in have little holes in the bottom, so that way they can absorb water from the bottom instead of pouring it over the top. But when one hit the water earlier, it sprouted up, and I got to see a little face. I didn't even realize that I had a wizard plant, but I had a wizard plant. They told me their name was Tiffany. Very cool little plant. They had a little wand there. I drew it in the picture. It's supposed to be a little star on top, but I think I made it a little smudgy. But oh well. Usually around this time of year, wizard plants bloom. Wizard plants kind of came around. I don't know, not even that long ago, maybe 20 years ago. Like I was a kid, um, and I remember seeing them like start to be on store shelves and whatnot. Apparently, the at the Wizards College wanted to get cheap apprentices that they could just grow at the snap of a finger, you know, and that ended up catching on with kids, and then they ended up selling everywhere, and and there's one in every home, and it sort of just became a what do you call it, just a household thing. Then I don't know. I guess recently, to like, I mean, plants are like wizard plants are anyway are sentient creatures. Like they have their own personalities. Mine's name is Tiffany. So they were granted their freedom to practice magic as they wish, and they didn't just have to be apprentices for wizards. So that's pretty cool. That they a lot of them have chosen to become wizards themselves just because of like their previous experience, I guess, predisposition toward magic. But others, learn to play the banjo and stuff. That's also pretty cool. Yeah. Yo, what up? Went to the thrift store today. Saw some pretty cool stuff actually. It was my day off, so I went for a little walk around the area. Stopped into the local thrift. It's my favorite spot in Darkwood. Well, my favorite spot to shop in the Darkwood because you never know what you're gonna find, and I've got some pretty good luck with finding stuff. I like to collect things like cassette tapes, records, old Dungeons and Dragons books, skulls, weaponry, candle holders, vintage windbreakers, VHS tapes. I'm working on a horror collection, stuff like that. Spell scrolls, magic items. It's always sick when you can come across a magic item. One time I came across the ring of invisibility. No, not the one from Lord of the Rings. It actually just was a ring of invisibility, but the ring itself was invisible, so I lost that pretty quick. Either way, The thrift store wasn't too rewarding to me today. I did get myself a nice little vest, for those Hobbit vibes. It's in black, so I guess I'm the I could be like the dark evil Hobbit. um, but yeah, no, it looked like the shelves are mostly cleared out. The same sort of thing that was happening at like General Shop. I talked to some of the staff that I know there. There's a few people that I hang out with that work there. And they said that the hooded figures that have been around the woods. I guess if you're new around here, you might know. I'm not sure. I've been encountering folks in like what I could call cultist robes, I guess, but I don't know if they're in a cult or not. Either way, they've been all throughout the dark wood, and it's been hard to. Not hard, but I have been a little paranoid, I guess that's what I should say. Either way, they've been buying up a lot of the stuff at the thrift store, which is mildly annoying. So they've been buying up like supplies and stuff like that all around the area. Um, yeah, it was a pretty uneventful day for the most part. Here I am drawing those little gnome. Yeah. Yo, what up? Went on a late night stroll tonight and ended up near a pond by my house. Um, this pond, it kind of sits in the middle of a grove of trees, almost perfectly circular in shape. Um, they said, I've been told anyway, that thousands of years ago a star fell from the sky here and embedded in the bottom and created this like perfectly spherical pool, and directly in the bottom of it lays the spirit of the star, a shining spectral celestial blade, um, deep at the bottom of the water. I don't know if I believe in that, if I'm going to be honest. It seems a little far-fetched. I mean, like, like vampire curses and like mountain trolls are one thing, but like a celestial sword at the bottom of a river or a pond created by a falling star. I don't know about that. But then again, you never know. It's a magical world we live in. Yeah. I struggled with whether I was going to post this drawing or not because I wasn't exactly the most happy with it. Looking at it now, it's like pretty alright, but you'll see in a second here, I draw the sword sticking out of the lake, and I'm not exactly a huge fan of it. Instead of like leaving negative space in the drawing, like where the trees and like the black water are, I used some white paint pens and painted it over, and I didn't quite wait quite long enough to go back in and add some like dark highlights on top of those or dark highlights, dark lights, shadows, on top of that white paint. Um, and it kind of got a little smudgy. Um, but I mean, I think it's a pretty neat drawing overall. I'm a fan of it. Uploaded my first YouTube video today, like a full on, like, full length YouTube video. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I've started mapping out the area around the dark wood on sticky notes. Go watch that if you're interested, I guess. Um, yeah, this is the sword in the lake.
Yo, what up? Tonight, as I watch the sunset, I'm reminded of the night wizard. He's a bit of a local legend around these parts. They say that the sun can't set without his magic spells. He was such a powerful wizard that he harnessed the power of light and dark, but chose the dark because no, well, not because he's like an evil like dark wizard, like a Lord of the Rings type thing, but he's
just likes to read and stuff, and it's easier to do that by lamp than in the blaring sunshine. Or at least I find anyway. He's just a dude who prefers the night. Yeah, you can see that the majority of this video is out of focus. I forgot to focus it. Way she goes. The Night Wizard is said to have once slain a beast of burning sunshine. I know that kind of sounds like something that might be like a positive thing, but I swear the Night Wizard is supposed to be a cool guy. The legend goes that when the beast came upon the lands, swearing to burn and dry every crop and melt the houses and whatnot, the Night Wizard, with a gleeful step, stood up to him and brought us a peaceful, cool evening where the fireflies could play. There are no fireflies here, so that's weird. But I think the Night Wizard might have been well, you know your stereotypical like wizard tropes, right? You know, a woo kooky crazy guy, super knowledgeable, doesn't know what's going on around him. Yeah, I think that's the same thing. They say the Wizard's real. I haven't laid eyes on him. But this is my sort of like artist's rendition, what I think he is. Because from the way he's been described, he's sort of a jocular, like jolly fellow. And there's all kinds of cool tales. I'm sure if you head to like your local library, you could probably read about him. He's known worldwide. Yeah. Not a really intense drawing here, but I just like seeing the little guy really shine out on the black background, and I think that makes sense.
Yo, what up? Today I went down to the Harbor of Regret. Um, it's on the western side of the kingdom. Actually, on the west of the Western Kingdom. In fact, I was a little ways away from the Dark Wood today. Not for any special reason other than going on a bit of a travel. It's not too far to get like all the way across the land. It's only a few hours trip, and it was well worth it. I got up early. Made my way out to the coast, saw the ocean and whatnot. I've been out here a few times. Like I said, it's not too hard to get out here. I have the freedom of travel, thankfully. Um, I went to one of my favorite spots down in the harbor. It's this little secluded cove. Normally, I would head through. There was a tunnel in the sea cliff that I would head through, and it would reveal like a secret beach. But today I decided to not get over there, mostly because I'm kind of claustrophobic and I don't like to go through underground tunnels. But today I decided to just sit on the shoreline and watch out over the harbor. Out in the middle of the harbor, kind of, well, not really in the middle, sort of on the outside. It's a lighthouse atop a spire of rock. Nobody really knows how it got there or even how it operates, but it does operate every night. There are rumors and stories and myths of like a mad lighthouse keeper who's lived there for centuries and is only kept alive through the power of necromancy or like some other devious magics. But could also be just like a really dedicated individual who sails out there and climbs up the rocks. Don't attribute to magic. Could just be dedication. It'll make your life feel a little better, right? Yeah, I'm really happy with the reflections in the water here. Yeah, thanks. Yo, what up? I fear the worst has happened. Today I had to stock up on my potion supply. I was kind of running low. Baby goblin I have living with me, Borp, has really been falling in love with smashing bottles and drinking the liquids. Thankfully, I don't keep anything
too toxic or noxious kicking around the house, mainly just healing potions and mana recovery and stuff. That baby got a lot of mana going on right now, glowing blue. Anyway, I'm getting off track already. I didn't even get on track. I just got off track. I started off the track. I went to the potion shop today to find it completely empty. The door was left creaking open. The window was broken, and much more glaringly, there was a large hole in the side of the building, coming from the inside out, from what it looks, as there was what do you call it, debris laying on the ground. For those of you who maybe knew or maybe have not seen my progress here, a little while back, my buddy Jason, he works at the potion shop. Well, he kind of is the potion shop. He's the potion seller. Accidentally spilled what we thought at the time was goblin potion on himself, and we thought he was turning into a goblin, but his condition rapidly deteriorated, and he was no longer goblin-y. I couldn't quite describe what I saw. When I saw him last, he had enlarged ears and a nose that dragged on the ground, and just all around like weird mess. And I've heard rumors throughout the town that it's only been getting worse. The potion shop's been closed for several days at this point, but I figured I'd go by and check on the guy at the very least. And yeah, he was nowhere to be found. The insides of the shop were torn to shreds. All the potions were gone. They were smashed on the ground, or just, well, that's about it. That's all you can really do to a potion, is smash on the ground. I don't think any were looted or drank. So I guess if you see, like, I don't know, some sort of monster man running around in the woods near you, let me know, because that could be Jason. It also could not be Jason. It could just be a regular monster man, which, maybe let someone know either way. Um, yeah, cool.
Yo, what up? I figured I'd give everybody an update on the baby goblin that I've adopted recently. His name is Borp. I found him abandoned in the ruins of the city of Asergoth. He's been living at my house now in the dark wood for some days. I don't know, maybe like a week, 2 weeks. Could be a month. I don't know. I'm bad at time. Um, Either way, things have been going well. He very quickly learned to stand and walk, and then the goblin came out in him. The classics: breaking my things, trashing my house, biting, scratching, kicking. All the things. He actually learned his first words the other day. Sadly, I cannot repeat them here, as they're not the most savory words, but I have learned that that's pretty common for goblins. Is their first words are curse words, which I think is a pretty neat piece of trivia. Because I love curse words. But yeah, it's been pretty chill. Goblin Fatherhood is pretty good. We've got a real setup going. I've finally been able to get him to like sleep in like a crib instead of just like wrapping him up in blankets and lying on the floor of my living room. Well, it's not so much a crib. I kind of like encase him in pillows on the bed in my spare bedroom. He has a bit of trouble standing up, but once he stands up, he's good to go. Like, he can run. Like, it's just getting up, because his little goblin head is so big that he can't really move around too well. He can't orient himself upright. But yeah, things are cool. I just figured I'd give like a little update, because everybody's been asking how he's doing. He's going goblin mode. You know, doing baby stuff. Been getting him to watch some TV recently. He's a big fan of like this '90s Canadian TV show called Reboot. Yeah, cool. Yo, what up? Today I'm going to draw a picture of my favorite plant thing in the dark wood. This is going to be the witch cap or witch caps, depending on how many are on the bush. Witch caps lie somewhere between plant and fungi, flower and fungi, if you will. They're simultaneously both, while neither. Usually they feed on like a decaying matter, but if there's no source for that, they can photosynthesize, but their magic is more powerful when they've helped decompose various things. People and goblins are usually what make them the most strong, but also like uh, other plants and fresh soil and whatnot will also give them energy, just not as much as I don't want to say a higher being, a sentient being, because I guess like other animals give them good power too. Usually they get more uh, aligned energy, I guess. Like if one fed on a fox, the magic it would grant would be like swift and silent, whereas like a goblin maybe it would be raucous and powerful. They're really important tools for potion and spellcraft. Underutilized as well. A lot of people don't like to go looking for them because they grow in gross places, right? But I don't mind. I find them to be too useful to go without, even if I do have to go to some stinky areas. Um, yeah, this drawing's okay. I really liked the plant I drew, but I found the background was a little weird. It is what it is, though. At least I got my drawing for the day done. I actually did like multiple drawings today. I actually have another like I think like 8 minute or something long YouTube video I just put up. If you want to go watch that and like and subscribe and whatever other things you're supposed to do there, or don't. I don't really care. In that video, I'm continuing to map the dark wood. So if that's of any interest to you, go check it out. If not, who cares? Yeah, back to the witch cap. If you see any of these, be sure to pick them because they can be worth a little bit of money and they're cool to have.
Yo, what up? Went to visit my friend Goop today. I had some questions, some quandaries, some queries. So I headed down to the Library of Galb. The Library of Galb is a like a repository for uncommonly asked questions, like stuff like like what does this kind of frog taste like, or like what is the texture of the soil in this certain area, things along those lines. I won't go into why I had to be there, but there's there's things I needed to know. You know what I mean? Either way, Goop is what we refer to as a Galb. The library is named after him. In fact, he named it after himself. He's the only guy who works there. Galbs are uncommon at best. I guess that makes sense why he would open a library of uncommon questions, I guess. But no one really knows like when they first appeared, but they did just appear. It's probably been like a few hundred years now since we've started seeing them, but the Galbs and like the High Galb Council and whatnot, the highest Galb, claim they've been here all along and they've been interacting with us and made friends, and they're just as confused as we are as to why we don't remember them. But sometimes you don't remember good friends. That's why it's always good to reach out. Um, But either way, Goop is he's a quiet fella. In fact, most gulbs are quiet. They don't have mouths. They tend to just speak through like nasal noises. Like if you ever like met someone who talked like mainly through their nose, kind of like how Bob Dylan used to sing on his early records, which I recommend checking out. They're all pretty good. Um, anyway, yeah, he did a good job of answering my questions. I now will go back to my baby goblin with new information, and hopefully that will appease him. Yeah.
Yo, what up? Today, as I was stumbling through the woods, I happened upon a body bog. A body bog is, well, it's, yeah, I assume you've heard of bog bodies. If you haven't, it's an interesting read. The Wikipedia article is interesting. Basically, when someone or something meets their end in a bog, they can get quickly covered up and essentially mummified, which is pretty neat. We found out a lot of things about like history through that. But a body bog is sort of like that. Various individuals meet their end there, but instead of staying deceased, they end up coming back, but they never quite leave the bog. They always stay at the bottom and reach out the arms and legs and other limbs, whatever they have. Consistently waving and moving and floundering for the rest of eternity. Um, it's kind of spooky, I guess. It's pretty harmless if you don't go in, but if you're in, well, they'll grab onto you and make you one of them. Thus, as the undead do, they love to, add to their ranks. So I rounded it as best I could. The longest arm tried to grab me by my ankles, but it was a couple of feet off, so I wasn't really worried. Tossed a couple pebbles in for good luck. You know how you do. Yeah, I'm not totally happy with this drawing. I drew those trees in the background there, and I think I had the background like kind of down here, but the problem is I tried to do a bit of shading in the back. Um, what I did was like I tried to like hatch it in. Hatching is like where you use like line strokes to almost indicate that it's darker, but I wasn't really a big fan of that. So I came back in with a just like a regular Sharpie marker and turned it into a starry night. And I wasn't exactly happy with that either. I probably could have did a better job or even like thought it out a little more, but I just sat down to make a doodle of what I saw today. Yeah. I guess if you're like in the woods and you see some arms waving, avoid them. Yo, what up? Went to visit an old friend today, the Tree of Hate. Now I know that sounds like an aggressive name and almost even depressing, but sadly, I think the poor guy was just judged on the way he looks and not on the content of his soul, I guess. He does. I'll admit it. I'm sure he wouldn't mind me saying. He does look quite horrifying, but especially in person. But to my experience, which is I've had quite a few. I've been out and visited him a few times. Quite the nice fella, actually. Friend of bird and squirrel. He told me today that something's living in his hollow. I tried to root around. I couldn't find anything, but I did see a set of eyes staring at me. Hope it's nothing too disruptive to his routine. Yeah, there's been like rumors and myths and legends about the Tree of Hate. He's been here for hundreds of years, as loads of trees end up to being. Um, that he, eats children or will swallow your soul or is raised by black magic. That last one's true. He actually was given sentience through black magic. But, like, If the black magic leads to, chill guy in the woods, then hey, how can you turn that down? Um, yeah, this drawing is sort of my retribution for yesterday. I wasn't exactly happy with. I tried to draw the same sort of tree background yesterday, and I totally biffed it. But today I think I hit it a little better. I even like switched down to my pen size to draw in these little grass flecks here, hopefully to indicate that they were getting further away. It still wasn't perfect, but I'm getting a better idea on what I need to be doing. And yeah, you can see that I came back in and I tried the hatching. I'll put that in quotes, hatching, because it's not quite right, but it definitely indicates that there's like some depth there. So I'm happy with that. If even if I messed it up, I'd still be happy. I just like to draw. Yeah, the Tree of Hate is it's been there a long time. Doesn't get a lot of visitors because of like his name and his reputation, but sometimes name and reputation don't mean anything.
Yo, what up? Oh, you power up to Popo, you will be out, Popo, you out here. Oh, you may, you will get your boy. People. Oh, you was yeah, 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 but yeah, yeah, but yeah, you sugar boy, you got that couple here, back in the popo, the popo, teacher, popo, the wapa, the wapa, yeah, 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 boy, oh, the body, I'll wow, yeah, boy, wow, the bow, wow, wow, poppy, pot, you boy, you tell me, you go, you, yeah.